What if I told you that some phone calls don't come from the living? That somewhere in the darkest corners of the unknown, the dead still try to reach us, haunting our phones, disturbing our peace. Imagine hearing your loved one's voice, clear as day, only to realize they're gone, forever. Would you pick up? In today's world, where we're connected more than ever, the idea of receiving a call from beyond the grave might sound absurd. Yet, there are countless stories of people who have received these chilling, unexplainable phone calls. And the truly terrifying part? They never stop. These calls from the dead are more than just eerie coincidences. They are as persistent as they are terrifying. Tonight, we delve into some of the most unsettling true stories of people receiving these ghostly phone calls, stories that will make you question the very fabric of life and death. The question is, are we truly alone, or are the spirits of the departed just a dial tone away? Stay tuned, because some stories you won't believe until you hear them yourself. Imagine it's a quiet evening in modern-day America. The world outside is bustling with activity. People commuting home after work, families gathering for dinner, children playing on their phones. Yet, within the safety of our homes, behind the glowing screens of our devices, a chilling truth begins to seep through. The technology that keeps us connected has become a bridge between the living and the dead. It's in these quiet, seemingly ordinary moments that the most disturbing phone calls often arrive. Our story begins on a lonely stretch of road somewhere in rural Ohio on a crisp winter evening. The trees silhouetted against the night sky stand like sentinels guarding a dark secret. The lights of distant houses flicker faintly in the distance, casting long shadows across the snow-covered ground. The air is still, save for the occasional whisper of wind. And then, the ring of a phone breaks the silence. The character of our tale is not some ghost hunter or paranormal investigator. No, this is an everyday person. Someone much like you or me. Their name is Mark, an ordinary man in his late 30s just returning from a business trip. His life until this point had been just that, ordinary. Mark had no reason to suspect that this night, this journey back home, would be the one that would change everything. He climbs into his car after a long flight, the weight of exhaustion pulling at him, and presses the button to start his engine. He's not expecting anything out of the ordinary. No strange calls, no strange occurrences. But as the engine hums to life and he pulls out onto the winding back roads, he feels a nagging sense of unease. Something he can't quite place, but something that gnaws at him as he drives further into the dark. This is when Mark's life begins to intersect with the realm of the unknown, a place where the boundaries between life and death blur. What began as an ordinary drive will soon evolve into a journey he'll never forget. And all it takes is one phone call. A phone call that echoes across the void, carrying a voice from the past. As Mark drives, the road seems endless. The dark, winding path before him appears as if it stretches into eternity, with no signs of life. Just the eerie glow of his headlights cutting through the inky blackness. The cold, biting air seeps through the cracked windows, and a layer of frost begins to form on the glass. For Mark, it's just another long night on the road, but something feels off. He can't shake the feeling that he's being watched, even though there's no one around. It's a quiet, unsettling kind of isolation. As he passes small, forgotten towns, a subtle unease lingers in the back of his mind. His eyes flicker toward the phone on the dashboard. The glowing screen, the familiar red notification light, seems almost too bright against the vast emptiness of the road. He considers ignoring it. After all, it's late, and he's tired. But something compels him to check it. Maybe it's a message from his wife, maybe it's a call from work. He reaches for the phone, feeling a strange sense of inevitability. He presses the button to see the incoming call. What he sees on the screen stops him cold. The caller ID is nothing unusual, just a name that should be familiar. But it's a name that Mark has not seen in over 3 years. His heart begins to race as he stares at the screen in disbelief. The name that appears is his mother's. She had passed away in a car accident years ago. Mark's hands tremble, the phone slipping slightly in his grip. He's unsure of what he's seeing. Could it be a mistake? Could it be someone who has the same name, perhaps? He hesitates for a moment, a dark thought creeping into his mind. What if it's not a mistake? What if it's her? The deep connection he shared with his mother rushes back to him. The comforting phone calls, the soft voice that always had the answers, the mother who had been his constant support. His heart beats faster. He knows he should ignore it. He knows he should keep driving, but the compulsion to pick up is overwhelming. He presses the green button. The line crackles for a moment before the voice on the other end speaks, and it's unmistakably her voice. Mark can hear it so clearly, as if she's sitting beside him. He feels his breath catch in his throat, the warmth of her voice filling the car. Mark, is that you?" she says, her tone soft, loving, yet somehow distant. Mark freezes. His mind races, trying to make sense of the impossible. He knows it can't be his mother. She's gone. The voice could be some kind of glitch, some trick of the mind. But it's not. The voice continues. "I've been waiting for you, Mark. I'm still here. I'm always here." His chest tightens, his grip on the steering wheel growing firmer. He looks out the windshield as if expecting to see her standing in the middle of the road. But there's nothing. The phone line goes silent for a moment, the only sound being his erratic breathing and the hum of the car. Then the phone call ends without warning. Just like that. No goodbye, no explanation, just silence. Shaken, Mark tries to convince himself it was nothing more than a malfunction, a glitch, a trick of the mind. But deep down, something within him knows it wasn't. And the more he thinks about it, the more unsettling it becomes. His mother had been a constant presence in his life, and now in death, it feels as though she's trying to reach out from the other side. But why? And more importantly, why now? Mark, though shaken, tries to push the incident from his mind. He tells himself it was nothing more than a glitch, a trick of the mind, something explainable. He continues driving, but the roads seem to stretch longer, the shadows around him deeper. His eyes constantly flick back to the rearview mirror, half expecting to see something, a shadow, a figure. He shakes his head, trying to dismiss the thought. It's just his imagination running wild. But then as the night presses on, the phone rings again. This time, Mark doesn't even need to look at the screen. He knows who it is. His mother. The voice is unmistakable, though softer this time, almost as if it's struggling to be heard through the static. "Mark, Please, you need to listen. The voice crackles. His heart races, and the unease he had been trying to suppress resurfaces. The words are distorted, breaking in and out, but the sense of urgency in her voice is palpable. They're still looking for you. Mark's hands clutch the steering wheel tighter, knuckles white. His pulse pounds in his ears, and for a moment, the world around him fades. The words echo in his mind. They're still looking for you, and a cold chill runs down his spine. His eyes dart from the road to the rearview mirror again. The dark trees, the empty highway. Everything seems so still, unnaturally still. Who's looking for me? Mark manages to whisper, but the voice on the other end doesn't respond. The call ends again, leaving him in the suffocating silence of the car. Mark stops at a red light, the silence unbearable. He almost wants to pull over and scream. It doesn't make sense. It can't make sense. There is no way his mother is calling him. She's dead. He checks the phone again, and this time the number is unfamiliar, just a string of numbers, an untraceable call. His hands begin to tremble as he stares at the screen. He's never felt this kind of fear before. This sense of wrongness. His rational mind screams that this is just a coincidence, that the calls could be some strange technological mishap, but his instincts, deep down, tell him something much darker is at play. The road ahead is empty. It's almost as if he's driving into a void surrounded by nothing but darkness. Suddenly, a new message notification appears on his phone, and this time, it's not a missed call. It's a text message. It's from the same number. The message reads, "Come home, Mark. It's time to join us." His heart skips a beat. This is no longer about the calls. This is something far worse. Something is reaching out to him. He feels it now. That ominous presence lurking just beyond the veil of the living and the dead. Whatever it is, it knows him. It knows his name, and it wants him to return. His mother's voice, once comforting, now feels like a haunting whisper from the other side, beckoning him into a place he can't understand. The hairs on the back of his neck stand on end. He speeds up, trying to distance himself from the strange force that seems to be following him, but no matter how fast he drives, it feels like the darkness is only closing in. And then, another phone call. He doesn't want to answer. He can't. He looks at the screen, and this time there's no name, no number, just the same unsettling static. The phone rings and rings, but he's too terrified to pick it up. His mind races. Who is on the other side? What do they want with me? The car feels smaller now, as if the air inside is thickening, suffocating him with every breath. As he drives faster and faster, trying to escape, he can't help but feel that the calls aren't just coming from nowhere. They're coming from somewhere dark and terrible, somewhere he should never go. Mark can feel the cold sweat forming on his brow, a prickling sense of dread creeping over his skin. The night has turned suffocating, and each passing minute feels like an eternity. Every mile he covers only seems to drag him deeper into a nightmare he can't escape. The engine hums beneath him, but the rhythm is broken by the eerie sound of the phone ringing once more. This time he can't ignore it. His hand trembles as he picks it up, dreading what he might hear next. Hello? He manages, his voice barely above a whisper. The response is the same as before. A chilling, almost sorrowful voice on the other end of the line. Mark, please, it's time. I'm waiting. His heart thuds painfully against his chest, and for a brief, heart-stopping moment, the road ahead of him blurs. A fog rolls in, thick and oppressive, obscuring everything around him. He slams on the brakes. The car screeches to a halt and he's frozen, staring out into the inky blackness beyond the windshield. For the first time, he hears it, the rustle of something moving just beyond the reach of his headlights. It's not the wind. It's not the trees. It's something, someone, moving swiftly, deliberately, through the fog, just out of sight. His mind races, trying to piece together the horrors that have unfolded over the past few hours, but nothing makes sense. His mother, alive? His mother who died 2 years ago? The same voice that had comforted him now calling from the grave, coaxing him, urging him, begging him to return. But to where? A sudden bang on the roof of the car shatters the silence. Mark gasps, his body jerking as his eyes snap to the rearview mirror. It's too dark to make out any detail, but someone is there. He can feel their presence pressing against the glass, cold, almost suffocating in its intensity. Another bang. The sound comes from the side of the car, as if something, or someone, is circling him, moving faster than any living creature could. His pulse skyrockets and his breath comes in short, panicked gasps. He presses his back into the seat, trying to make himself as small as possible, but it's no use. Whatever is out there, whatever is calling, is closing in. Mark quickly grabs the phone again, dialing 911 with shaking hands. The call goes through, but it's not a dispatcher's voice that greets him. Mark. It's his mother's voice, distorted, stretched beyond recognition. We're waiting. You can't run anymore. Mark slams the phone down, the device, slipping from his fingers and crashing against the passenger seat. He tries to restart the car, but it's as if the vehicle has been seized by some invisible force. The engine sputters, coughing and spitting, refusing to turn over. Panic seizes him. Suddenly, the lights flicker. The fog seems to grow thicker, almost consuming the road ahead, and the temperature in the car drops sharply, the breath in his lungs freezing the moment he exhales. He rolls down the window in a desperate bid to see beyond the veil of mist that seems to be closing in around him. And that's when he sees it. A figure, tall, dark, and impossibly still, standing in the center of the road, just outside the reach of his headlights. Its form is indistinct, shifting like a shadow, but Mark can feel its eyes on him. Eyes that are not human. Eyes that are ancient and cold. Eyes that know things no living soul should know. His hands fumble for the door handle. He has to get out of here. He has to run. But as he pushes the door open, something grabs him. Cold hands, pale and thin, seizing him with a grip that's far too strong for a person. He screams, the sound strangled, as the fingers wrap around his wrist, dragging him toward the figure. His heart is pounding in his ears and the air feels heavier now, thick with an unseen presence. And then the voice comes again, but this time it's not coming from the phone. It's coming from all around him. Mark, it's time. Before he can react, the figure steps forward and Mark is pulled into the fog, into the darkness. into the waiting arms of whatever force has been haunting him from the moment he picked up that first call. The phone calls ceased that night, but the question still lingers. What happened to Mark? Was it the voice of his deceased mother that led him into the fog? Or was it something far darker? A force that was never truly human, a presence that followed him from the other side. He was never found. Not a trace, not a clue. Just a void, as if the earth itself had swallowed him whole. But what about the phone calls? Could it have all been in his mind? Or could there be something far more sinister lurking just beyond the veil of death, reaching out, calling those who are too vulnerable, too grief-stricken to resist? The phenomenon of calls from the dead has been reported for centuries. From eerie late-night rings to voices on the other end of the line that carry the unmistakable sound of a loved one long past. Whether it's a brief message or a conversation, that feels too real to ignore. One thing is clear. Once you answer, the line never really goes dead. Perhaps it's not just a coincidence that so many people have felt that strange compulsion to pick up when the unknown number appears on the screen. Perhaps there's more to these calls than we understand. An unsettling reminder that some things don't stay buried, that some souls are too restless to let go. And perhaps, just perhaps, you've received a call like this yourself and didn't think much of it until now. But here's the question that keeps circling, refusing to be ignored. What would you do if the phone rang, and on the other end was someone you loved, long gone? The mystery remains. If you felt that chill running down your spine, you're not alone. If you've experienced something like this, share it in the comments below. What do you think? Are these calls from the other side, or is something far darker at play? Stay curious, and remember, you're never truly alone in the silence. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and keep an eye on your phone. You never know who might be calling next.